What's up, fam? What's going on, man? Just want to get on here, chop it up real quick about the dude Showtime, Shawn Poter. You know what I'm saying? Now we know the situation with Shawn Poter. We've been covering here on the channel, and we know that Shawn Poter is #1 in the WBO, could possibly be chosen as the mandatory to Terence Crawford. But Shawn Poter has been letting out a lot of iffy little quotes, lately, and it's letting me know that Shawn is either looking maybe for a cash out or for an easy route. It's either cash out or easy route, whichever one you prefer. You know what I'm saying? But the fact is that I was reading the WBO regulations, and it says in their regulations that if pretty much a network doesn't accept the other fighter, that fighter can surpass the mandatory. So if Fox doesn't want, Terence Crawford, or if or Showtime or wherever Shawn Poter is fighting that don't want Terence Crawford, and if ESPN doesn't want Shawn Poter, well, he can sidestep the mandatory. That's just one of the little loopholes that's in there, amongst many, that Shawn Poter can get from underneath the mandatory. And he can always cite and hide behind the fact that, we couldn't come to a deal. They talking $1 million, right? $1 million. At least that's what Bob Arum says. I think the offer can go up as long as both sides are participating. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that Bob Arum feel like, look, I got you in a position of leverage. What else are you going to do? That's the business of boxing. Y'all told me for a long time that the reason that Terence Crawford is forced to do this and forced to do that because he has no one to fight, because the PBC fighters have him in a position of leverage. What else is he going to do? So we can't be upset when this type of attitude come back in the opposite way. And so Bob Arum is like, yeah, I'm sure he knows that Shawn Poter is worth more than $1 million. But the fact of the matter is he's looking at what he's been making. He's looking at what he's been generating. You know what I mean? And on top of that, he's looking at the position that he's in. It's like, what else are you going to do? Now, I prefer that Shawn Poter, if it came down to it, just participate, negotiate. You know what I'm saying? But let's say if you couldn't get off that $1 million for whatever reason, they're not coming off it, right? He can clearly always go back to his side on PBC and say, hey, PBC, can we win this purse bid? That way, I can get more money. They could put more money into the pot. Now, either way, if it came to purse bid, like I told y'all, Terence Crawford will still get that 75-25 split unless he says, hey, or his side says, let's give them a little bit more of a higher percentage. They can do that. And in a lot of cases, that normally happens, especially situations like this when you got two supposed elite fighters. Now, Shawn Poter, to me, now let's look at his options. Now, we know Shawn Poter's been running around telling everyone he is the magic Mando, where he is the Mando in almost every sanctioning body, allegedly. Now, when you look at things, you'll see he's technically not the mandatory in the WBO because they haven't called it yet. He's not the mandatory in the IBF because the IBF interim title is also vacant. And I just got Abdukukurov, who's in the #1 position. He just recently left Top Rank and signed over with Samson Lekowicz, who does business with the PBC, making it very probable that he will be Errol Spence Jr.'s mandatory. Now, even behind that, we know that Sergey Lipinets fought Castillo Clayton, and technically that was supposed to be for the mandatory, but they fought to a draw, which kind of canceled that out. So I'm wondering, given where the position that Shawn Poter is with the IBF, and he may, regardless of his comments in the past, actually got love for the IBF because they enforce their mandatories heavy. And Shawn says he's been told something. His last fight with Sebastian Formella was an IBF eliminator as well as a WBC eliminator or something like that, So, but he hasn't been named as the mandatory. So he can possibly get into a fight with, say, Sergey Lipinets, who fought to a draw, right? He can face Sergey Lipinets while Abdukukurov go on and face Errol Spence Jr., I don't know, sometime in 2021. And after that, it's all said and done. If Shawn Poter makes it through Lipinets, well, there's a good chance he becomes the IBF mandatory. If. On top of that, he's the WBC silver champion. #1 in the WBC, I believe. So very good chance of being called the mandatory there. And those are the areas that I think that Shawn Poter is pretty much concentrating on. IBF as well as the WBC, whichever one comes first. Now, my thing is that involves Sergey Lipinets. Now, if he has to fight one more eliminated in the WBC, which is highly, maybe not probable, But then again, so much time is going to pass where he just can't sit around and do anything. He can waste time and go and, like I say, do that IBF thing. But when it comes to the WBC, there ain't nothing but top names. And one of the top names that sit right under Shawn Poter in the WBC was who? Keith Thurman, as well as the Mikey Garcias and the Danny Garcias and yada, yada, yada. But Keith Thurman is right there. Shawn Poter got quotes out here saying that he don't want to face Keith Thurman. He's saying that he believed that Keith Thurman, pretty much in a nutshell, is coming back for a money grab. And he doesn't like the fact that Keith Thurman may make him like a third option or something like that. Like I'm just hanging out here. You know what I mean? So he's telling everyone, he specifically said that I told everyone I do not want to fight Keith Thurman. Why do you not want to fight Keith Thurman? What has Keith done to you, champ, other than beat you? Not to mention when Keith gave you an opportunity, he gave you an opportunity at a world championship, Shawn. So the guy that beat you, you don't want to get your get back. You don't want to get no revenge. You're telling your side to keep me away from Keith Thurman. I don't want to be in the same room with Keith Thurman. But the man beat you. What kind of mental mindset is that for you to say the guy that beat me, I don't want to get my get back. I have no concern with that fight, even though it's a big fight. And you will get paid good money. But I don't want to have anything to do with Keith Thurman. All I want, it's like all he wants on the top floor right now is Errol Spence Jr. And I can't blame him for it. I mean, Errol is supposedly the big fish. I mean, if he get his shot, he get his shot. But us as boxing fans, we've seen that. We've been there. We want to see you and Bud. That's what we really want. But it is what it is. Shawn, it seems like he's cutting off all avenues to hard fights. Keith Thurman is now cut off. And in Terence Crawford's case, he's letting it be known, look, I'll make myself available if that number goes up, you know? And I think right now, Bob Arum, listening to how he's talking and how he's talking about Terence Crawford, well, it ain't nothing incentivizing Bob Arum to up that number right now. He don't care about if he loses the Shawn Poter fight. Trust me, Bob looking at the bottom line. I can't make no money with Shawn Poter. Either he come for this low money or he don't come at all. It is what it is. Crawford gonna still be who he is. That's unfortunate though for us as boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? That's the business of boxing. We want to see the damn fight. Simple and Simon. I think Bud has a very good chance against Showtime Shawn Poter. And maybe Shawn Poter knows that as well. My thing is, like I asked in the past, what are you gonna do, Shawn? You could have took $1 million for a shot at the WBO champion and #1 pound-for-pound fighter, became an instant top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. Or you could go take for that same $1 million and go face Sergey Lipinets or Castillo Clayton or one of them type dudes and get nothing. You'll still get your money, sure, and you'll still be waiting. And ain't no telling when you may get that shot. When you can skip the line from everyone and say, you know what? I believe in me. I believe in my skills and abilities, and I'm going to get in there and get Terence Crawford all that he can handle. He can go that route too, can he? He can go that route. But Shawn Poter feels in his mind he didn't lose to Errol Spence. He gave Errol all he can handle, and he should be perceived as a very top-rated fighter, which we all love Shawn Poter. I don't got nothing, bad to say about Shawn Poter. I got, Shawn Porter's a warrior, man. He's been in there with everybody. He don't turn fights down like that. But now he's in the twilight years of his career. Well, I totally get it. He's looking at the door. He's more closer to the exit than the entrance. And he's saying, look, if I'm going to be walking out that door within the next couple years or whatever, then I got to make sure I'm straight. And the only one right now is making sure that I'm straight is Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao. The business of boxing. It is what it is. Even if Shawn Poter does or does not step up to the plate, it is what it is. We can move it to the next one, Virgil Ortiz or Mikey Garcia. It is what it is. If they get out the way, then bring on the next guy. Who is that? I think it's Castillo Clayton, if I'm not mistaken. Bring him on then. It is what it is. Because at the end of the day, Bud's legacy is going to be sealed with the Errol Spence Jr. fight, no matter what, I believe. So he could do whatever in between. You know what I mean? I just hope Earl doesn't lose until then. That's all I hope. It is what it is. Shawn Poter taking the easy route. He's cutting off Keith Thurman. I just really say what you want about the Bud situation, fam. But it's nobody that can tell me nothing how he talking about Keith Thurman. I don't care, bro. That man beat you, shawty. He beat you. He beat you in a championship fight. And you just saying for no apparent reason, just because you don't like the guy, because you, no, I think you scared you're going to lose again before you get to that big bag, before you make it back to Earl, hopefully. And I think you think that Keith is going to ruin that. And I'm almost wondering, do you feel the same way about Bud? I'm just asking the question. I'm out of here, fam. Catch up with y'all real later. Much love to the fam. Thumbs up for the homie. Rock the bells, man, because you two playing games. Rock the bell so you rock with me every time I upload. And salute to everyone in Mainman Mademan's boxing forum on Facebook. Yo, yeah, it is what it is, man. I've never heard nothing like this in my life, boy. Boxing nowadays is so different, man. Guy beats you for the belt, for the championship belt. You like, I don't want to deal. I don't want to fight him. I told the people to keep him away from me. I don't want to go near Keith Thurman. Like, what the hell is this, bro? Shawn, I got love for Shawn, so I don't want to diss him too much. But come on, bruh. Slip Shawn, man. Slip Shawn. To the next video. Much love. Peace out.